Yeah, we just did a little research here, and we have no expectation that there should be a ground path available to that cable. So the
Okay,
fact that it's not directly connected makes it, far more likely to be a phenomenon of this static electricity, as you say.
I see.
And
Okay.
I don't think that there's anything unique about the headset that is encouraging that static electricity to head down the ground wire. However, I will tell you that static electricity is always looking to seek another potential. It's always looking to go somewhere. So, I would look around. In my world, I deal with devices that are sensitive to static electricity all the time. We're talking about very small components on the workbench that, routinely are stated, caution, static discharge, blah, 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 blah. They come in anti-static bags. My
Sure.
top of my bench is covered with a high-impedance anti-static mat that is drawing the voltage off to ground all the time so that it doesn't build a static charge. We use a bare concrete floor so that we're not building up any kind of static charge in carpet.
Right.
We cotton, not wool or polyester, to minimize the amount of static electricity we generate. And then I've carried this knowledge of workbench stuff for 20, 30 years now to customers' situations. And quite often in a customer situation, we'll do something like put in a grounding bar.
Okay.
I'm
So,
sorry, I'm just being asked, did this just start when the winter weather came on, when the dry air started to happen?
no, this has been occurring for a little while now.
Okay, I would question the how you are generating static electricity and how much static electricity you're generating, and see if you can minimize that. I know that I have customers who were having sort of a similar problem with a mixing console. That is to say, they would get up, walk across the control room, grab something, come back, sit down in the chair, and then touch the desk, and it would static discharge. And the desk, that static, you could hear a pop, and if you were recording, of course, it could capture it. It wasn't always happening, but it happened often enough that they made the correlation between the static from the operator, being discharged into the console.
Right.
And all we do for them is lay a metal bar across the front of the workbench, and so that when the guy gets back down into the chair and turns around, he doesn't touch the console first. He touches this metal bar. And that takes the static electricity away from him, and he can touch anything else after that without a problem. And trust
So,
me, I know about static electricity. I've had static electricity shut down a live event in front of 25,000 people, and I was the system technician, so I
wow.
understand static electricity and audio very, very well.
So I'm talking to the right guy, in other words.
Well, I wish I could tell you that the solution was a simple modification to the headphones, but it isn't. The solution's going to be based on where is this electricity coming from. How are you building up so much static electricity that your equipment is becoming affected by it or
Well,
sensitive to it?
I can tell you exactly what I do to cause this. And I'm not doing anything professional or even semi-professional here. I mean, I've got these headphones because I've heard good things about them. And what I do is sit down at my computer and I like to play some games. So I'm not recording any audio. I'm not doing anything
Yeah,
of that nature.
yeah,
Um, but when it happens, I can literally get up from my chair, walk about, oh, I don't know, maybe 8 feet to my bedroom door, walk back, sit down, pick up my headphones, and my screen will flash for like a millisecond as soon as I pick up my
yeah. Okay.
headphones.
So let's ask a couple of questions, and I know this is going to sound really bizarre. What are you wearing,
It won't, no, it doesn't
and
sound bizarre.
what's on the floor?
Okay, socks and carpet.
There you go. So perfect. You're one of the best static electric generators. Van de Graaff would love you. He thinks you are making the absolute most of the surface area you have in terms of generating static electricity. So just stop
Sure.
it. Two ways to stop it. One is bare feet. Another way would be to use an anti-static spray on the carpet, which is not the most effective, but it does work. It's kind of like starch, actually, but they sell
Okay.
it as an anti-static spray for clothing. You could find it, in any, sort of larger department store or whatever, I would think.
Okay.
Um, and then the other thing to do is to, if you know you're going to build this electricity up, and you go, well, screw it, I'm not going to wear bare feet because my feet will be cold, and I'm not going to put starch all over my carpet because I'll have to
Sure.
do it every 3. Then what you do is you figure out how to get rid of the static electricity before it becomes a problem, and that's what we were talking about with a grounding bar, some metal piece that goes right in front of your computer station so that you can then discharge into that first. Hold on a second. I'm sorry, this is my cell phone. I need to
That's fine.
check this. I'll be right back.
Sure.
Hold on for me, all right?
No problem.
Mac, what's going on? Yep. Good. Yep. Yeah, I'm really glad that they decided not to reorient that entire room for the second day event. So you did good there. I don't have any word whether I can back up my 11 o'clock appointment at Amherst College to 10 o'clock tomorrow in order to get there earlier, but I may hear back from them still. So just keep me in touch. You know, if you definitely need a body, get a hold of me as early as possible. Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah, I got you. All right. Yeah, I'd much rather it be noon, but yeah. All right. Yeah. Let me get a hold of Jonathan Doyle and see what I can do about that. 11 for wire. Yeah, for wireless testing. If I back it up to 10, that would give me 90 minutes on site, and I'm only 10 minutes from you. So. Bring cash. I'm not kidding. Bring cash. Hey, let me call you back. Let me call you back on my ride home tonight. All right? Yeah. No problem. All right. Thank you, Mark. Good. Absolutely. Thanks. Talk to you soon. Bye. Sorry about that. Technician in the field just finished a high-profile board of trustees meeting for a university in the area, and he's going to just go ahead to update me.
No problem.
So let's see here. So I think that a grounding bar is a really easy thing to do as an experiment for you, and there are a number of ways you can do this, and one of the easiest ways to do it is to just take a piece of metal, whatever you have that would be cosmetically, acceptable to you, and put it near your workstation and just, routinely touch it first. As you sit down before you touch the computer, whatever, touch it. And that piece of metal would have to be, of course, be grounded, but you can ground it by literally, putting it on the ground wire of a electrical plug and plugging that in, on the green terminal, or a radiator usually will give you ground or something like that. I don't know what else you have in your physical property there that you could use. But that is a very, very effective method of avoiding the big discharge going into the computer. The other question I wanted to ask you, though, was, is your computer and everything plugged in well to grounded outlets, or is this through like a bunch of extension cords and that kind of stuff?
Well, I mean, I've got a spike bar that's right behind the computer. So the computer's plugged into the spike bar, which is plugged into the wall.
And it's a grounded outlet in the wall.
Yeah, I mean, it's got 3 prongs, so as far as I know.
Yeah, good. That's actually that is the most honest answer anybody would have given me, is because it looks like it is, doesn't mean that it really is. But yes, I suspect it might be, but it also might not be. So, maybe you have a friend with a meter that could meter whether or not the ground was there, just to make sure. Because I could see that if you were putting that static electric spike into the spike suppression, through the chassis into the spike suppression unit, and it couldn't get to ground to go away, that it could pop back onto the neutral or the hot line, and it could make the monitor flicker or something. We're grasping at straws here because all this stuff is invisible to us.
Right. Now, I say spike bar, but this may just be an extension of sorts.
Yep.
Let me see here. Honestly, it doesn't really say on it, so I don't know how to tell whether or not it's a spike suppression unit or just an extension cable, or are they all one and the same? I don't know.
No, no, no. They come in all varieties. From
Okay.
where someone say it's a spike suppression and it'll have one cheesy little cap in it to it's a spike suppression and it'll have a serious stacked two-pole pi filters and include induction to ground and that kind of stuff. I mean, it runs the gamut. So, and I don't know that a better spike suppression would do anything for you. However, if you did have a surge suppression type power strip, and it was a metal boxed power strip,
Uh huh.
and it was properly plugged into a ground, you could grab onto that when you go to sit down, and that should discharge the electricity that you build up. But clearly, you're building up the charge on the floor just because of the socks and the carpet.
Right.
That's where it is. So my only, sort of guaranteed advice, if you want to call it that, would be to get yourself a grounding bar. Something. I've seen people take metal and put it across. Like you can buy, uh, metal edging in stainless steel and aluminum and stuff like that people would use, and they'd put it right across the edge of their desk. So
Right.
the front edge of the desk now has this metal edge, so that basically it's just easy to just walk up, sit down, put your palm right up against that little piece of metal for a fraction of a second, and then when you touch the keyboard or whatever, your static's already gone. So that's
So
the trick for you. To me, the trick is going to be get rid of the static before you touch electronic equipment.
I think that's probably the best solution because, like, I don't want to mess with spraying my carpet, and I also prefer to wear socks because I like to keep my apartment kind of chilly. So, yeah, I
Yeah, yeah.
agree with that option. And forgive my ignorance with regards to all things electricity because I am wholly ignorant when it comes to these things. But when you were talking about installing a ground bar, you said that one option is to actually put it in the ground of like a power outlet, or what exactly were you saying there?
If so, don't do this yourself. Okay, don't do this
Okay.
without adult supervision, so to speak. But if you get a piece of metal that you're going to put across the edge of your table,
Right.
and you put a piece of wire to it, you
Okay.
take that piece of wire and you connect it to the green wire, on a plug, on a power plug.
So
Don't connect to the other two.
you gotta chop one up to access the ground wire,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Uh, well, you can do it on a plug. What I'm saying is, buy an electrical plug, a replacement plug,
Oh, okay. So
and then
is it like a male to male or just a male to female?
no, it's just a male plug. It would just be the regular plug that would be on the end of a cable. Some of the, you can buy them replaceable, with screwdriver terminals.
Oh, okay. I got you
And
now.
then you put your wire from your piece of metal into the green terminal
Yes.
on that and plug it into the wall. And again, assuming that the wall is grounded, when you touch that metal bar, your static electricity will go through the wire and through that plug and into the wall and disappear
I got you.
long before
Okay.
it gets to the computer.
Now, here's a question that is probably stupid, but how do you protect against electrocuting yourself by having that plugged into the wall and the other is you just don't put any
I,
prongs in for the
you wire it correctly, yes. You wire it to the ground and nothing else, and you're good as
so
long as it's
there
wired.
so there are no prongs going into the positive or negative terminals, right?
If those, yeah, that you're using the wrong term to describe them, but yes, you only connect to the round pin, not either of the two flat pins.
Okay.
Yep.
What's the correct term?
They would be hot and neutral.
Hot and neutral. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, the big one, or the one that looks like a T sometimes, that's the neutral, and the littlest flat blade one is the hot.
Right, right. Hey, I told you I was ignorant, so I gave you fair warning.
Yeah, no, that's fine. What I was cursing at before was that my phone is ringing again now from another site technician who's at
Oh,
another. Well, he's at the same university, but he's in the arena as opposed to in the boardroom, so I have to call him back.
sure.
Sorry, my day's just been getting really busy, and
No, it's okay. I don't want to take any more of your time. I think that you've given me enough advice, and it just.
all right.
I'm glad that I finally got this figured out, and I hope that I haven't damaged anything inside of my computer.
No, I would hope so as well. It certainly has the potential to have, but I don't. I wouldn't suspect that it really has.
Sure.
The thing to do is get a friend who has a meter and knows a little bit about electricity to
Yes.
meter your wall outlet to make sure, in fact, it is grounded.
And if it is
And then,
not,
if it's not grounded, talk to your landlord.
okay. Now, is that something that probably should be the case? And if it's not, you think they might be required to rectify that, or not
The landlord,
necessarily?
absolutely 100% guaranteed, required by law in the United States of America to make that outlet grounded.
Okay. Okay.
Required by law. Buildings of occupancy.
Got it. And I don't know if I got your name. What was your name?
My name is Scott.
Scott. Well, Scott, thank you very much for the help, and I will let you get on with your day.
Good luck to you, sir. And if if this works out, then good. And if it doesn't, and you want to ask another question, call us. I won't be around after Tuesday of next week, however, for 7 days.
Okay.
All
Once
right.
again, I appreciate
Good
it
luck.
very much. Thank you, Scott.
You're welcome. Good luck to you.
Thanks. Bye bye.